All right, it is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That's Metal Church from A Light in the Dark with a tune called Disappear. And Steffi, I'm going to guess that you are just 100% not a Metal Church fan.
Absolutely not.
You don't know nothing about Metal Church.
No, that you play them.
Well, that was Ronny Munroe, the former lead singer of Metal Church. Metal Church still out there, but Ronny, the third lead singer, has left the band as of this week. And let me ask you, because I know you're one of these that likes bands but doesn't really. You're not a purist, I guess. I mean, other than Guns N' Roses, I would say you probably don't know who the fuck is in any band, right?
I'm
For the most part,
with names, and I really don't usually care.
I mean, honestly, your favorite artist is Slash. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so if Todd left Slash and was replaced by another bass player, would you care?
Actually, yes, I would, because Todd Dammit Kearns is good.
Well, but that's only because he fucking said something to you, didn't he?
Yes, he did, actually. Yes.
But I mean,
yes, he did.
Okay, well, Brett Fitz is the drummer of Slash.
Yes, he is.
Would you give a shit if he left?
Yes, because that's the original conspirators.
Okay, so you would care.
I would.
So overall, for the bands that you like, you care if it's all original members or not? Pick a different band. Maybe Slash is too close to home.
Like?
Seven Dust. Would you even fucking know if
Yes, Seven Dust I would, and they need to be the original band. Come on, Chris.
I'm not doing well on this
you
topic.
You are sucking ass. You know, you got that.
You don't even like Slipknot. See, but the problem is you don't like a whole lot of bands. You're not the biggest range of musical taste. You like what you like, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's safe to say there's not 20 bands that you really like.
That's probably true.
There's probably like 5.
Right. I like all kinds of music.
You'll listen to other stuff,
yes.
but there's like 5 that you're like, holy fuck, well, that's this guy and this guy and this guy.
I have to see him, yeah.
Right. So of those other 15, outside of that 5, but in that 20, do you give a shit who's the singer and who's the fucking drummer
You're right.
or whatever?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Not at all.
Now a band like Metal Church has been around almost 30 years. They've been through 3 singers at this point. Would a band like that's been around 30 years, if you had a band that you liked that had been around 30 years, would you give a fuck who the singer is?
The singer?
The singer.
The singer is a huge thing.
But if they replace
example, because if they replace the singer, they better either make their own statement or sound a lot like the original.
Right. But okay, so but if they replace like Journey, I'll use Journey as an example.
Well, they replaced the guy, or Steve Perry, they replaced him with a guy that sounds just
like him.
Okay,
so that's acceptable.
Yeah, I mean it's okay, it sucks the dude's not there anymore, but it's acceptable. But I mean, just like with Dream Theater, they replaced Portnoy.
Yeah, but he's a drummer.
But that motherfucker that they replaced him with is good.
Yeah,
so,
Mike Mangini's awesome.
Yeah, Mangini is great.
He's definitely awesome, even though I'll never give Dream Theater props, especially after they blew John off today.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Did he cry when he got home?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He wiped his tears in the car before he got out.
Yeah. Well, he was dehydrated from jacking off on the way to the interview. So, yeah.
It's so funny.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're
really.
not. No, you're not.
I said not really.
Holy shit.
Oh, goodness.
That's so funny. So in theory, for you personally, you wouldn't care if for that kind of band that's not one of your favorites. You really wouldn't give a shit who's in the band. If there was one original guy,
because like Guns N' Roses, I could give a shit about them right now.
Right, but there's one original guy. But yet, if we would have found a way to get you into Rock on the Range, you'd have come.
Absolutely.
You would have come to see the show.
Absolutely.
Right. That's the whole point. And you would have been
because I've never met Axl Rose.
But forget meeting Axl Rose. If it was just about fucking seeing Guns N' Roses, whatever version it is, would you have been okay with that? You'd have been okay to stand in front of the band and see the tunes that you like, especially if they were played well.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Neely and I go back and forth with this all the time, and I'm a believer that people don't give a fuck. Most people don't know Duff McKagan from fucking whoever the guy is now, from, what's his name, Tommy Stinson.
Well, there's some bands that I'm like, oh, yeah, I wouldn't know the difference. The singer is usually one that you can't hide.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, nobody does Axl Rose.
No, not really.
Miles Kennedy pulls it off. But he's not Axl Rose.
He doesn't pull it off. He puts his own spin on it and it works.
Right.
Because he doesn't sound like Axl.
No. But he can sing Axl songs, and not many people can.
Right.
But he's not Axl Rose.
Right.
There's nobody that is Axl Rose. Not that I'm, like, all up on, Axl Rose, whatever.
Right.
But, he's got that one-of-a-kind voice. You can't mistake it. You know it's him. And those are his songs, and that's the voice that goes with it. Now, that dude that they found for Journey, yeah, okay. That guy did it.
Mm-hmm. Well, sure, but at the same time, then Iron Maiden had a guy that sounded completely different when they replaced him, and that guy didn't do it, and that's why that failed.
Right.
Because if that guy would have sounded like Bruce Dickinson, they could have probably just carried right on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and it's interesting. For me, it's hard to it's always hard to gauge this for me because I'm such a fucking, I know everybody. I'm in the world, so I know who the fucking bass player is of fucking.
And I could give a shit.
Yeah, of Five Finger Death Punch or whatever, and
or the drummer.
Yeah.
But I know him.
But I mean, you know him, but that's a band that you've had direct interaction with. Name the two guitarists.
I don't know. And I don't even know the drummer's name because I don't give a shit.
Or the singer or anybody else. Right.
I just know the drummer's the one that came up to me.
Let's go to a famous band. Who is the lead singer of Godsmack?
Why the fuck are you doing this to me?
No, because I want to prove a point. Because I want to prove a point that it doesn't to the average listener that does not fucking study this shit, it really doesn't matter. To you could give a fuck if it's Sully Erna or fucking anybody else in front of Godsmack.
Yeah, I really
if you heard a tune and they said, "Hey, that's Godsmack," you'll be like, "Hey, that's cool." But then you'd be like, "Oh, maybe it's not." But you'll never ever have a thought that, well, that sucks, right?
No.